Hello everyone, and welcome to The Big Game. I'm Kendrick alongside Jules Dormain, where tonight we'll take a look at how the Lady Lions softball team started conference play.
We'll also look at the Pelicans' progress towards the playoffs.
But first, let's recap the men's and women's basketball team's performances in the Southland Conference playoffs. The Lady Lions basketball team entered the Southland Conference playoff tournament with a conference record of 14-4, which was tied second best with Texas A&M Corpus Christi. With the Islanders having the better overall record, the Lady Lions would earn the number 3 seed and a first-round bye. The preseason favorites to win the conference title were set to face the 7th seed Nichols Colonels, who the Lady Lions had beaten in both of their regular season matchups. Could Coach Cazzardo and the Lady Lions pick up their third victory? Let's find out. Starting the game in Lake Charles, both teams would show their shooting prowess, that they can space the floor, just like Deanna Brister would do here. However, the story of the game for the Lady Lions, the points coming from unfamiliar places, namely the bench, led by graduate student Kennedy Paul and sophomore Alasia Washington, combining for 34 points and 16 rebounds. The Lady Lions also made sure to play scrappy, dominating the boards, leading to extra opportunities close to the hoop, and in turn, at the line. The Lady Lions would tally 44 rebounds, 17 more than their 7th-seeded opponents. However, even when the Colonels would play good defense inside, the shooters for the Lady Lions would make sure to warm up, namely Alasia Washington, who would make 4 threes that game. Coming out of the break, the Colonels made the game close, just for Paul to keep extending their lead with her automatic offense inside of the arc. However, the Lady Lions weren't free from Nichols just yet, with players like Lexi Alexander making sure to keep the Colonels within grasp of pulling the upset over the Lady Lions. However, again, here comes Alasia Washington, telling the Colonels not so fast, as she starts raining down threes in order to extend this lead far beyond the reach of the Lady Colonels. To even further push the Colonels away, though, Kennedy Paul would also reassert her dominance in the paint. She would be the team's leading scorer that night. Towards this point, the Lady Lions started to rain more points on, drowning out any chance of a comeback at all. Kennedy Paul would officially put her ball in the game, though, leading the Lady Lions to the next round with a 75-57 win. After the game, head coach Ayla Gazzardo said this about their bench squad.
And it's kudos to these two next to me. We truly have a deep bench, and we know that, and we took advantage of that today, and I think that's going to help us in this long run of this conference tournament.
The Lady Lions would move on to the semifinals to face the 2nd-seeded Texas A&M Corpus Christi Islanders. Both teams had an intense back-and-forth battle in the final few minutes, but the Lady Lions would come up short as Islander guard Paige Allen would score the game-winning layup to take the 60-59 victory from Southeastern. The Islanders will face number 1 seed Lamar in the conference championship, as the Lady Lions have their season end 1 game short from the conference title.
The way we played today, it was kind of how we played all season. You know, it was ups and downs and runs, and then they went on runs, but that's really how we played all season, so it wasn't any surprise stuff. We just fell up on the short side of the stick. This game, I was just telling, hey, this game does not define who we are as a team, as a program, or each of them as players. They played hard, and as a coach, that's what you want. They kept fighting, they kept believing, they kept talking to each other, but eventually at the end of the day, one team has to win, one team has to lose.
On the men's side of Lions basketball, the team capped off their season with an 8-10 record in the conference, good enough to earn the 5th seed in the playoff tournament. The team would face the 8th-seeded UNO Privateers, a team that the Lions had beat twice during the regular season. Could they match the Lady Lions' success and earn the three-peat? Let's find out. The Lions come out strong on this defensive possession. Good block by Nicholas Caldwell under the basket. Jordan Johnson scoring the first bucket of the game for the Privateers. Get used to hearing his name. Next possession down, Woodard finds McFarland on the cut, an easy 2 points. James Glisson III answering with a 3-pointer for UNO. And there he is again, finding his rhythm on the mid-range jumper. But Alec Woodard answers back with a 3-pointer, the Lions keeping it close. There goes that man, Jordan Johnson, with a grown man's bucket inside. Mason Jones' halftime heave would be no good. Lions enter the half down 6. Coming out of the half, Brody Roberry getting active inside with the tough bucket. Wilson Rouse's three is off, but the ball finds the hot hand, Jordan Johnson from way downtown. Here he is again, just dicing through defenders, getting into the lane for the tough finish. Johnson really feeling it. Back-to-back three balls in Roger McFarland's face. I mean, this man could not be stopped. But Roger McFarland shows his strength on the other side of the court with a tough layup. Roscoe to Roberry in the pick-and-roll action. Jordan Johnson again getting past defenders, driving in. This time Roscoe finds Roger McFarland from three. This connection's been pretty good this game. They connect again on the fast break. But Jordan Johnson hits another three in the corner, putting the Lions to sleep. Roger McFarland doing some stat padding late in the game, puts up a two, add two more to his box score. SLU fell short 78-66, but Jordan Johnson finished with 34 points, and UNO upset SLU for the second year in a row, despite only winning 10 regular season games.
After defeating number 11 East Carolina, the Lions baseball team came back to Hammond to start their 10-game stretch at home by defeating Alcorn State 12-2. The Lions welcomed number 2 LSU Tigers to Alumni Field, but came up short with the final score of 4-3. On the following weekend, Southeastern played North Dakota State, splitting a Saturday doubleheader, losing Game 1 6-3, but taking Game 2 8-6. In game pitch hitting Laken Polk singled up the middle to drive in the winning run as the Lions scored 3 runs after 2 outs in the 9th inning. With the final score of 11-10, last Tuesday, Tulane visited and Southeastern would take the victory in the last inning, winning 8-7. The team will be playing host to Alcorn State this weekend, with Game 1 starting this Saturday at 11 a.m. and will be streamed live on ESPN+.
The Lady Lions softball team started conference play against UIW in a Southland weekend series. Southeastern Louisiana would take games 1 and 2 with final scores of 4-3 and 2-0, but would fall in the series finale 6-3. Though the team is ranked 4th in conference play with a 2-1 record, they are only trailing behind a 3-way tie of 3-0. The Lady Lions lead the conference in overall play with an 18-6 record and will look to boost that lead as the team will travel to Commerce, Texas to take on the Commerce Lady Lions.
The Southeastern Louisiana track and field team traveled to Baton Rouge to close out their regular season competition. At the LSU Twilight Meet, veteran distance runners Landon Shillage, Darian Chestnut, and Noah Kirpitich all secured top 15 finishes on the track. Serbian sensation Slavko Stevic cleared 2.17 meters in the high jump competition to earn a gold medal. Stan Hamilton continued the success of the Lions as his best leap landed him 14.41 meters, a new personal best for him, as well as earning him a bronze medal. Donroy Brown picked up another gold medal for Southeastern, with his final toss in the shot put being thrown 16.11 meters to earn his place at the peak of the podium. After a few minor injuries, the Lions traveled home to prepare for the Southland Conference Indoor Championships in Birmingham, Alabama. We would like to thank reporter Haley Dupree for contributing this report.
The Lady Lions tennis team played host to Missouri State in non-conference action Tuesday night at the Southeastern Tennis Complex. The Southeastern pair of Alba Perez and Tayasia Bolsova earned a 6-1 victory on Court 2 against Missouri State's Mary Houston and Sandra Lukakova. But the visiting Bears would take the victories on Courts 1 and 3 to take a 1-0 lead in the singles. In single matches, Lady Lions' own Kate Borina swung her way into victory on Court 2, but Missouri State earned straight set wins on Courts 3 and 4 to take the 3-1 victory. Even when his team is defeated, Coach Jason Hayes knows the team's future is only brighter.
You know, today we had 4 freshmen and a sophomore in our starting lineup. So everything that we're doing great. We're working hard, we're getting better, we're getting smarter each time out. I love what I'm seeing. You know, did we want to win? Obviously. But the most important for us right now, especially in March, is to keep improving. We want to reach our peak when the conference tournament rolls around the end of April. That's our ultimate goal. And what we did here today is a positive and works towards that goal.
Coming up after the break, we'll check in on how the Pelicans are performing in their division and how the MLS started their 2024 season. The Big Game will be right back.
Watching it isn't the same as doing it. Maybe it's time to go outside.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework. He hates homework.
It makes no sense.
I don't know how he finds anything in his backpack.
I can't find my backpack.
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's
I'm
just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
Welcome back to the Big Game. With 17 games left in the NBA regular season, the New Orleans Pelicans have been turning heads with their impressive record, which is currently the second best win-loss percentage in franchise history, only behind the 2007 Hornets season. Big Game reporter Brendan Smith gives us an update on Zion Williamson and the rest of the team's progress towards the playoffs.
The New Orleans Pelicans have finally started to receive national media attention, and as the saying goes, any publicity is good publicity. It all started when ESPN TV personality Stephen A. Smith poked the metaphorical bear, that being Pelican superstar Zion Williamson.
Zion Williamson, it's not about his game. It's about how many burgers he's eating and whether or not he's going to be in shape, or is he going to keep eating McDonald's and have chefs clamoring for him to come to their restaurants. That's what he has to prove, that the chefs don't love him any longer, okay? That he's committed to playing basketball and being in shape.
Subsequently, after these comments, Pelicans' social media accounts put Stephen A. on blast, with him posting an 18-minute response to the Pels' social media admins.
Before we go to break, this is the last subject that I wanted to bring up because it involves me and that organization.
And ever since those comments by Stephen A. 2 weeks ago, the Pelicans have gone 5-1, even beating Stephen's hometown New York Knicks. And it seems as of lately, the loudmouth media member has bitten his tongue when discussing New Orleans.
I think New Orleans might take y'all personally. I'm just going to talk. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to speak it into existence. I don't want that to happen.
The Pelicans, unaware of the outside noise, have been taking care of business, more specifically on the road, where they are tied with the T-Wolves for most wins in away games this season. Although it may be easy to see the comments by Stephen A. as motivation for the Pelicans' success as of recent, the Pelicans themselves credit their success to showing everyone how talented they are and to finding their rhythm at the right time.
Guys get a chance to go out and show the people their talent, show everybody what they've been working on, get a chance out here. And it's just focus, especially at this time of the year, just trying to get these wins so we can do what we want to do.
I mean, we control our own destiny. We got 19 games left, I think. Finish up this road trip strong, get home, and try to get some wins at home. And then continue to try to get as many wins as we can and get closer and closer to mid-April when the playoff starts.
Reporting for the Big Game, I'm Brendan Smith.
The MLS entered its fourth week of season play and is picking up a lot more steam in the U.S. Since Lionel Messi joined Inter Miami Football Club last season, MLS witnessed a 6% increase in followers on TikTok and 50% more engagement on Instagram. This year will be the second season of a 10-year, $2.5 billion global media rights deal with Apple TV. Thankfully for the MLS, the league will continue to be buoyed by its young, diverse, and digital-savvy fan base, as the league boasts the youngest and most diverse fans in North American sports. With the 2025 and 2026 FIFA Club World Cups, as well as the 2028 Olympics all coming to the country and continent, MLS plans to continue to fuel football fandom for years to come.
The NHL is 3 days away from entering its last month of the regular season play, and hockey fans are excited for the potential playoff bracket. In the Eastern Conference, the Florida Panthers hold the #1 seed with a record of 45-17. The Panthers will defend their playoff position from the New York Rangers and the Carolina Hurricanes. For the Western Conference, the #1 seed is held by the Vancouver Canucks with the top record of 42-17, which is one win better than the Winnipeg Jets and the Colorado Avalanche. Many more teams will be fighting for a spot in the Stanley Cup playoffs, which begins on April 22nd.
The Division II Soccer Championships games were held at Strawberry Stadium on February 23rd. The girls' teams would start the night's first match with #1 seeded St. Thomas More going against 7th seeded Ben Franklin. Aubrey Cassidy would score 3 goals for the Cougars and help secure the Division II championship for St. Thomas More, with the final score of 6-1. Rounding off the night was the boys' match between #1 seed Ben Franklin taking on 3rd seed Holy Cross. Both teams would score a goal each, and with 4 minutes left in the game, an additional own goal from Ben Franklin would help secure the Holy Cross win with the final score of 2-1. LHSAA Director of Communications Vincent Cappuccio says that the championship games at Strawberry Stadiums is not only a great feeling for the teams, but also for the entire community.
Each year we love to come back to Hammond. Student athletes they love to come here each year. They're so excited to get in the playoffs, and they thoroughly enjoy their time here to try to compete and win a state championship. The community we love Hammond. They do a great job for us. The Tangipahoa Convention and Visitors Bureau do a fantastic job for these student athletes, the coaches, the parents. They do such a great job each year that we want to bring it back every year.
SOU would also host a Division V Girls Basketball Championship game held at the University Center on March 1st. The trophy would be fought for between #1 seed and last year's state champions, the Oak Hill Lady Rams, and the #2 seeded J.S. Clark Leadership Academy, Lady Bulldogs. Down 25-23 with 2:55 left in the first half, the Bulldogs would respond with a 26-4 run, spanning nearly 12 minutes to take control of the ball game. Thanks to dominating in the paint and on the fast break, J.S. Clark would hold on to win the first championship in school history. With the final score of 67-45, sophomore Taylor Barnaba was named the game's most outstanding player, scoring 18 points with 6 assists, 4 rebounds, and 8 steals. Head coach Ross Ricks spoke after the game about how proud he is of his team and is already looking forward towards next season.
A long time coming, and I'm excited for the school, excited for the community, and excited for the growth and the progress of this girls basketball program. The future is extremely bright, and I'm not saying this first one, we're excited to get it, but I'm already thinking about getting back to work and seeing how many more we can get.
We're going to take a break, but don't go anywhere. Pick and Roll returns right here on The Big Game.
I am what hunger looks like in America.
I am an 8-year-old girl who's not excited for the last day of school. Because this may be the last time I'll have lunch. Till September.
I am a single father of 2 who works 3 part-time jobs. And that's still not enough to put food on the table. I am a 16-year-old boy who just got my first job to help feed my little sisters. I was created by artificial intelligence from faces of the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew they were hungry.
Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
History is not always something we can see or touch. What they encountered horrified them. One of the most diabolical crimes in Louisiana history.
There's no way this is real.
Welcome back to the big game. Jules, it is my most distinct honor to announce the return of pick and roll. And I know that the topic for today won't be your favorite, but we'll be going over if we are actually done with the 90s. It's the topic on TikTok where they've been finding these old clips of the 90s and kind of discrediting, if anything, their game.
I just can't get behind that, you know? Like, I don't understand why we're throwing away an entire era of basketball. Like, you can't fault somebody for being born in a different era. That version of basketball is just as good as today's version of basketball.
I get what you're saying, and I don't agree with the discrediting of somebody's game. I don't agree with just trashing someone's game for who they were, for whatever they played in. But I do feel like this is better for the sport because I feel like we're finally putting to rest a era that has kind of grown its own legs and is still ran over the 2000s and over the 2010s, I feel like.
Yeah, but you can't discredit 90s basketball, man. I mean, that was one of the most physical eras of basketball. You had, you know, the Michael Jordan three-peat. Like, we can't just forget about all these things. You had Magic Johnson absolutely dicing up defenses, Larry Bird shooting lights out. I mean, this was a great era of basketball, and it should be talked about for years and years to come.
However, the 90s seem to take their own little different part. We don't talk about the 70s or 80s like this. We don't even talk about the 2000s and 2010s like this. We're almost halfway through the 2020s, and we're still talking about the 90s. We need to let these legends of today actually become their own legends instead of comparing them to Ewing, to Jordan, and all those guys.
See, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, you didn't have teams in the 2000s and the 2010s like you did in the 90s. I mean, the Bad Boy Pistons, I mean, they were early 2000s, and they do get a good bit of media coverage, and people talk about them a decent bit. And then, I mean, you can go back to the old Celtics teams with Bill Russell, and Wilt Chamberlain gets a ton of media attention, and he was even before the 90s. So I guess it's got its place to be everything has to look back to the past in order to embrace what's happening now.
However, I feel like sometimes we do embrace the past a bit too much. For instance, you're saying we had all these great teams. We've seen in the 2010s a team that broke the single season win record. We've seen a guy who went past the triple doubles in a season record. Russell Westbrook averaged triple doubles for 4 straight seasons. We need to give the guys today their props before they're the ones sitting there being the coaches of today, the owners of today, instead of just being the players they are.
But see, this is how I see it. Whenever we move on into the future, our kids are going to be, you know, thinking about Russell Westbrook, and they're going to be talking about, oh, look how good Russell Westbrook was back in the 2010s when they were in the 2030s. I feel like this is just how basketball is going to be. You're always going to look back on the previous eras before you to draw comparisons to the new generations of talent today.
I agree, but I feel like we also do need to acknowledge not just what the past has given us, because they've given us amazing moments, they've given us amazing players. But I feel like we also do need to acknowledge what we've gotten today. For instance, the shooting, everything that came with that. So, I mean, I think we're going to agree to disagree. I see what you say, you see what I say. But I can see why the 90s being a bit pushed to the side would be good. But I can also see why still being here would be good.
Yeah, I guess I can see both sides of the coin, but you're not going to change my opinion today, Kendrick.
Well, I guess we won't get that anytime soon. That'll do it for today's big game. For more information on Lion Athletics, visit lionsports.net. And for more of us here at the big game, visit thesoutheasternchannel.com. So for Jules, Dormain, and our entire big game crew, I'm Kendrick Allen. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.